Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's weekly watch list. Hopefully, you all had a wonderful weekend and are looking forward to get back to trading here come Monday. So, let's start off as we always do by looking at the overall market as a whole and see how that is setting up for the upcoming week. So, we will start off here with the ES futures. We can see that we were in a nice downtrend here, rejecting this 21 and falling, rejecting this 21 and falling. But it did make a strong reversal here these last 3 days here, pushing above the 21 and now actually closing above that 50 simple moving average. So if we draw a few trend lines here, we can see that it was holding this downtrend here. We also had this bottom right at this level, and now it has finally broke that level to that upside. So I do think with it breaking those kind of strong resistances that we could see some more buying here. If we also look down at this daily squeeze, we are above that zero line here. We also have some positive bullish momentum on the histogram here. So this squeeze could start to fire to the upside and we could go retest these all-time highs at these levels here. So that's kind of what I'm seeing with the ES here. Let's move on to the Qs. The Qs here are still holding below, actually right at that 50 moving average, so that could be a place of resistance for this one. We are still in a deceleration stage on this one with no stacked DMAs. A low compression squeeze is starting to form, so definitely watch to see if the Qs can reclaim that 50 moving average, and if they do, you could definitely see a lot more buying pressure coming into this one. But if it rejects it, I say we do fall back down to these previous lows from before. So definitely levels to watch is that 50 simple, and then also these previous lows if it could hit those levels once again. The next one to look at here is the Dow. And the Dow, just kind of like the ES, has been absolutely tearing here these last few days. So before, it was rejecting this 50 simple. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 times it rejected that level. On Thursday, it closed above that level with this daily squeeze setting up, getting very bullish here. And then it bounced off of that 50, so it retested that level and then pushed up higher. We don't have stacked DMAs, but with this squeeze setting up as it is, looking to fire to that long side, we could see some more buying here. We could retest these previous highs here on the Dow, I think, this upcoming week. So definitely levels to watch to see if it could fall back down and retest this level. That might be a good buy entry for the Dow, or if it just keeps chugging along to that upside. So last but not least here, we're going to look at the Russell. Once again, it's doing the same thing it's been doing for months now, and it's just sitting in a range. We do have this nice daily squeeze setting up with the histogram above that zero line with that bullish momentum coming into it. It looked like it was about to break out here on Friday, but then it got rejected at that -1 ATR and actually started to fall back down again, looking like it's going to make a reversion to this 21 EMA. This is the only indice that does have stacked DMAs on it, so this one to the long side, in my opinion, does look the best out of all the indices, just due to its structure having the most bullishness to it. I do think if we get this reversion to the 21, that may be a good buying opportunity for this one, but also need to be hesitant because it has rejected this -1 ATR here before, so it could just keep doing that and pinging back and forth between this +1 and this -1 ATR as it has done previously. So definitely levels to watch out here are both of those. So now the actual plays that I'm looking at for this upcoming week, we will start off with Airbnb. It was on mine last week and it's also still on it this week because its structure is still looking very good. So we have stacked DMAs, we're in an acceleration stage, and if we come in here a little closer, we can see that we've been holding this 21 EMA very nicely. So our structure is definitely in an uptrend here. We've held the 21 here, and we're looking to hold the 21 here as well. Our squeeze histogram is above that zero line. Unfortunately, we do have one darker blue bar, but if it can hold above that zero, I think this one does look great to the long side and hopefully can retest these previous highs that are its resistance. So the next one I'm looking at is Lucid. If we look here, we have our stacked DMAs. Our squeeze histogram is below that zero line and it has bearish momentum, but its structure is holding that 21 EMA and has been bouncing off of this 50 simple, so that is a place of support. I just want to be patient with this one and wait for a few yellow colored bars in the histogram to show that it could be starting to make a reversal to that upside. And if that does happen, I think we could go retest these upper levels where it has pushed before, and hopefully that squeeze can then propel it to those levels. Next, I'm looking forward to the long side here is match. We have our stacked DMAs in an acceleration stage, and its structure is just beautiful. So we have this nice daily squeeze setting up with our histogram above that zero line and those light blue bars, which is bullish. We are holding this 21 EMA beautifully. Ideally, would like it to come back down to one of these levels or even that 8 EMA for an entry, but I do think this one has a prime structure for it to keep pushing to that upside. So definitely look for a fall, ideally to around the 157 range for an entry, and this one does look solid in my opinion. The next one I'm looking at here is Wells Fargo. So banks themselves, if we go look at the sector, um, have a great structure here on their daily time frame. So you had this low compression squeeze firing to that upside. Looked like they were about to get a flush, but did close above the 21 EMA, and then from that level, it just boomed up here to almost plus 2 ATR. So this one does look very strong. I would be a little hesitant now because this could start reverting back down to the 21, but ideally if we do get that reversion back to the 21, that should also give Wells Fargo a reversion back to the 21, which I think would be a great place to get an entry on this one due to the fact that we have this nice daily squeeze setting up with the bullish momentum, and everything about its structure does look very bullish. So just wait for a pullback with this one and within its sector for an entry, but I do think that banks themselves are looking very bullish. So now the only stock that I'm actually looking at to the short side in case we do get a pullback here in the market after these 2 days of absolutely ripping is Disney. So if we look at Disney's sector itself, XLC, we can see that this one is in a great downtrend here and has been rejecting this 21 EMA, which is leading me to believe that it will keep doing that here in the near future. We have no stacked EMAs, we're in a deceleration stage, and we're setting up a new daily squeeze. So if we get a reversion back to this 21, I think that'd be a great entry for shorts due to its structure being very bearish. And I do think that if this one starts to fall to the downside, it will drag along Disney with it. Now, if we look at Disney here, we can see that it is setting up a nice daily squeeze. Histogram is below that zero line. We did get a close above that 21 EMA, but we are rejecting this 50 simple moving average. We also have negatively stacked EMAs, which is very bearish. And I think that if XLC can start to roll over, Disney will also fall along with it. So look for an entry, I'd say, if it can fall back down to about 176-ish itself. I think that'd be a great entry place to get short on Disney, and look for it to fall back down to these previous lows. So this is the weekly watch list. Hopefully it gives you all a few more stocks to look at for this upcoming week, and let's go out there tomorrow and start making some money. Have a great one, everyone.